Shalom, brothers. Welcome to another edition of GMS Journeys. You should know us by now. Elder Taza Dakbar, this brother driving us, Elder Menatazak, Elder Ayathan, and Ivad. And I wanted to read a little something about this. Last week at camp, Elder Tahar was bringing out this thing about this flesh-eating disease and how this woman down in Georgia got all jacked up and she was getting amputated. So we're gonna read a little bit into that. First, let's start off with that scripture.
Okay, this is Jeremiah chapter 27, verse 17. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, I will send upon them the sword, the famine, and the pestilence. It will make them like the vile figs that cannot be eaten.
Right, because like vile figs, in other words, figs, any type of figs, bananas, any type of fruit that goes rotten, you can't eat it. Once it's rotten, you can't eat it. When's the last time anybody ate a fucking rotten apple? Or a rotten orange? Or rotten lemons? Once the fruit goes bad, you don't eat it. So the Lord said he was going to smite them with the sword. Right? He said he was going to smite them with the sword. And you know what? The sword is coming to America. The sword is definitely coming to this motherfucker. And the sword comes in many different shapes and forms. One of them is what Esau been using on us, on the Israelites, basically since they came here to the Americas, biological warfare, disease warfare. They use it on the Gadites. And that's how they cut the numbers of Gad down here in North America, and they were able to take this country from Gad. So the disease warfare with the smallpox and the different things that they brought with them when they came, because the Gadites that were here, they didn't have none of them diseases.
Yeah, asthma.
They didn't have none of that shit. You devils brought that over here when you came off of them ships. When you came out of Spain and you came this way, and when you came out of England coming this way. You devils brought them fucking diseases with you when you came over here. Because Gad didn't have them problems. Not until you devils came over here. Read that again, Ark?
Yup, it says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, I will send upon them the sword, the famine, and the pestilence.
Right, the sword, the famine, and the pestilence. Famine, that's dealing with straight up food supply being cut off. Now, 1 in 4 American children in America right now is hungry. That's according to statistics here in America. So to say that this place is not in famine, it's a goddamn lie.
Well, that's why now they got to start, which I mean, they being demonic too. They're not growing crops no more. The earth ain't yielding crops like it was before.
No.
That's why these devils are making all this damn laboratory mess.
GMOs. Yo, every time I go to the fucking store, right, the other week, I had bought a motherfucking red pepper, right? I was gonna juice it up in a drink and make a drink with it. So I cut the fucking pepper because I was gonna use half the pepper. And then the pepper, there was no fucking seeds in the pepper. I said, what the fuck? I threw that shit away. So, man, I ain't fucking eating this shit. When you cut open a green, a yellow, or red pepper, there's motherfucking seeds in there. Just like every time I see a fucking watermelon in the store, there's no seeds in a fucking watermelon. Or you got grapes, no seeds in the grapes, man. Seedless grapes, seedless watermelons, fucking seedless oranges.
And you know that's not natural, because when you go into Genesis, the first chapter.
Somebody get Genesis, the first chapter.
That real quick.
Backed up what this brother saying. Go ahead, Al.
Yeah, Most High said he created every fruit, vegetable, whether you want to call it vegetable, fruit, every plant with the seed in itself.
Whose seed is within himself to reproduce after his kind. Like this brother Elder Menatazak said. If you found that in
I'm looking.
first chapter.
Go ahead, I'll get in a second.
Yep.
That's right. Like the brother said. It tells you that in Genesis, whose seed is within himself to reproduce after his kind.
I got it. This is Genesis, first chapter, verse 11. It says, and the power said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind.
Right. Yielding fruit after his kind. That's right. All right. Because why? It had its seed, so it was able to keep, like the brother said, reproducing, showing you that what? That there was a creator behind this.
Right.
All right. What you got this fucking asshole, old wretched bastard, right? Morgan Freeman, old dirty, dusty ass bastard. The Most High is gonna kill that nigga, man. You got him talking about there's no God, right? Which they all into that Scientology bullshit.
Right, that Scientology.
Didn't he play God in the movie?
He played God, yeah. And he said, but I'm not gonna say I'm an atheist because I believe that I'm God. That's all witchcraft. That's all witchcraft.
Exactly.
And the Most High is gonna. That's why you hear about that nigga getting into damn near life-threatening car accident. The Most High gonna kill these niggas, man. You a goddamn fool to not know that there's a creator, man. Who else? How else would these life forms come here? How else? And the so-called white man can't match it. He can't make a fruit that has a seed within itself. That's all natural and organic coming from the Heavenly Father. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, it says, and the power said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding...
The herb yielding seed and the what?
The fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind.
Yielding fruit after his kind. Meaning what? Just like it had seeds in it, the fruit that comes after it is supposed to have seeds in it.
Right, like apples got apple seeds.
Yeah, the same
apricot seeds. So on and so forth. And you doubles through your GMO, your genetically modified organisms. You've been producing these GMOs, and there's a documentary called Panacea or Poison, and it's about the whole GMO situation. And they show in the documentary how the U.S. for a long time has banned people being able to patent the seed, but now they've allowed Monsanto to patent a seed. Before that was never able to be done, because that's something natural that grows on earth.
Right.
But now Monsanto has a patent on their seed, and what they do is they'll have their trucks go through a cornfield or whatever and release their seeded spores, because it'll do something called, in nature there's something called cross-pollination. And usually it always happens within its own fruit species. Like that's why you got different types of apples. You got red apples, green apples, you got apples that are like a golden kind of yellowish color. That's all within the apple family. There's a thing called cross-pollination in nature, but it's within the same family of fruits, or within the same family of vegetables. Right? So Monsanto trucks will go through cornfields and have the back door open, and their spores are flying out and cross-pollinating with farmers' crops that are planted all around in their region. Then Monsanto comes on their property and say, oh, wait a minute, you didn't get permission from us to use our seed. We're taking over your entire field. And it's legal. That's what the fuck these devils are doing.
Yep.
Right? What, you finished that ayat done? And what you was reading in Genesis?
There's a little bit more. I got something else. It says, and the power said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and a fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind.
And the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind. Right? After his kind. Another thing that they showed in that documentary was how these devils, in a particular machine they put the seeds in the machine, and at about 600 miles an hour, they inject, I think it's called BTX or BTH, which is the, what you call the pesticide that they use into the seed, and it becomes a part of the biological makeup of the seed. So then when they plant the seeds, they'll grow, and the crops will grow, and then the seeds in those crops will automatically have the pesticide already genetically in them. At 600 miles an hour, they shoot it into the seed.
And the ones that make Roundup too, I think that's Roundup.
Yeah, like this brother's saying. So this shit that these devils are doing, and this shit is fucking us up. It's fucking everybody up.
Yeah.
That's why we're being broke down by this shit.
I got something about cross-pollination and all that. There's Deuteronomy 22:9. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds.
Right. If you're gonna grow grapes here, you grow grapes here. Then in another part of the land, you grow carrots. Over here, you grow cucumbers. You keep them all separate. You keep those things corn. You keep those things separate, and they grow separate. You don't cross corn with carrots and shit. You don't do that.
Cheese splicing.
But you know, in corn, you got different types of corn. But that's within the family, the corn family. That's within the corn family. You got different types of corn.
And that don't mean, you got some dummies, that don't mean that you can't cross-pollinating. You can't be breeding them together.
Right.
Trying to mix seed, you know, like, okay, let's mix an apple with a pear seed and grow a pear apple or some shit like that. You can't do that. That's what this devil does. It mixes everything up. It mixes all whatever genes or genetics is in one fruit and they'll mix it with another one. And then he's going to the point where he's mixing them with fucking humans or rat genes and all.
Gene splicing.
These devils are putting fucking rat genes in potatoes.
Yeah.
They're putting fucking fish genes in tomatoes. They'll pick tomatoes while they're green and while they're not ripe. They'll store them and then they'll take some type of carbon gas and gas them, and that'll make them mature and turn red. And then they bring them out to the stores and they put out there in the fucking store. I was at this place called Food Bazaar like last year and I ran into a guy, I think he was from the Czech Republic. We started talking, he said, you know, in my country, a strawberry reeks the smell of a strawberry. A tomato reeks the smell of it. He said, this shit right here is all fucking bullshit. He was disgusted at it, but there was nothing else to do, so he was picking a few things, and then he bounced. You know, we like talked for a quick second, and then he was out, you know? That's this devil with these fucking GMOs. Because over there in Europe denies that GMO shit. They fight against it. But that was it.
I got something real quick there. Isaiah 24 and 4 and 5. It says, the earth mourneth and fadeth away.
Right, the earth mourneth and fadeth away, man. And that's what this devil is doing, man. All this shit that this devil is doing, they don't observe what's called the land Sabbath, which you're supposed to plant for 6 years. In the 7th year, you let the earth rest and you plant in another area. So the earth can rejuvenate and replenish itself in that 7th year. Then you come back the 8th year and plant there. And you observe what's called the land Sabbath. They don't do that. So the earth, the food is not yielding its strength like it did in the ancient world. When you read it in the time of Moses, it took 2 strong men to carry a cluster of grapes. Now you can hold a cluster of grapes like this and you eat. Bitch, you eat grapes, right? Well, back then, it took 2 strong diesel men to carry 1 cluster of grapes. So if grapes was that big, how motherfucking big was watermelons? How big was honeydew melons? If grapes was that big. That means grapes had to be the size of like grapefruits or bigger. If it took 2 men to carry 1 cluster, they had to be the size of fucking like grapefruits, man. Damn, it may be the size of what a honeydew melon look right now. So how much bigger were the honeydew melons and cantaloupes and watermelons back then?
And they weren't processed.
That's right.
There was no the pesticides, you know, because the Most High created natural so-called pesticides, which are the insects and the animals. You know what they call that, a food chain.
Right.
You know, so the Most High, the ecosystem, Most High got everything balanced out.
Yeah.
And that's what the grasshoppers and the locusts are for. Usually when the grasshoppers come to devour a bad crop. When it's a real shitty crop, that's nature's way of cleaning that bad crop out. You got field mice also that feed on some of those old rotten vegetables that's there in the field mice. They eat certain watermelons that go rotten or whatever. They tumble into them and they just eat them out. Then it decomposes back into the ground. Locusts and grasshoppers usually come to devour a bad crop. Usually. Now, when the Most High sent that plague on Egypt, that was a plague from the Father because that was because of their wickedness, what they were doing to us. The Most High was plaguing Egypt. But usually the locusts and them come when it's a bad crop. They come to devour. So really, a lot of this crop here in America, there's a problem with locusts and with what's it called? I just said the name. The other name. Grasshoppers. They come, to come and eat the crop because the crop is bad. These crops, this food we getting is flimsy bullshit. Yep. So that's the reason why the insects is really there to devour it like that.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's a plague from the Most High.
And because this land is cursed too.
The land is cursed.
Yep.
It's a
It says
plague.
it right here. And that's why people are sickly and just jacked up and depressed. You know, because back then when, the way the Most High created things, the food was packed with nutrients and minerals and vitamins.
Yeah,
It kept you
energize
healthy.
you.
Yeah, energize you, kept you healthy.
The food alkalizes you, man.
Your mind,
It recharges your battery literally because literally we got electricity running through our body. So there's foods that's called alkalizing foods, and a lot of the food